Hey guys, day 11, let's go. It's not raining today, sun's out, you can see behind me. It's actually been a real nice day. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here for day 11. I haven't checked how many Ks we're up to, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm ahead of target. So I should be at 66 Ks if I did 6 Ks every day. I think I'm well ahead of that, so that's good. It's Friday night, sun's going down. I hope your Friday night plans go well. And yeah, let's continue the kidney story today. So I think where we left off is we tried the second peritoneal dialysis, the second tube in the stomach, and that didn't work. Got me really sick. I was in hospital for like 3, 4, 5 weeks or something, and had some dark days after that. So we decided that hemodialysis is the way to go forward. And in order for that to happen, they've got to put what's called a fistula into my arm, which gives them access to blood, because that thing that's in my neck, you can't use that forever. And honestly, it was a pain in the ass already at this point. It keeps getting clogged up. I had to go back into theatre a few times because in the middle of it there's like a wire, and because your body attacks it and starts growing around it, so it gets all gummed up. So they got to pull the wire out and then put another one in, and it's like the same process of getting the whole thing put in, and you're awake, and it's not freaking nice. And sometimes I couldn't do dialysis properly, and yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. So yeah, I had to get a fistula put in my arm, and what that is basically they loop a vein around to create extra blood flow, because they need a really high blood flow rate to get your blood into the machine fast enough, the dialysis machine. So it takes time. Once they go in and do that operation, which they did, they knocked me out for it, thank goodness. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks for that vein to develop and start getting the blood flow that they require. And once they do, then we try it out for the first time. And yeah, that was an experience, one that sadly I had to get used to for the next 5 or so years. They come out with these big needles. And it's not like a needle where you get your shots, right? Not those tiny little things. It's a 14 gauge needle, or 15 gauge needle. I eventually went up to a 14 gauge needle, but started with a 15 gauge needle, and they're big and thick, man. Like, think of a Bic pen, the big disposable pens. You pull out the middle, the ink thing, where the ink is, that's how thick it is, right? You got 2 of them going in your arm, one for blood in, one for blood out. And yeah, it takes a little while to get used to that, jabbing this giant thing into your arm. Never really stops hurting, but you get used to it. And then there's other complications with dialysis as well. So I have to watch things like fluid, because the dialysis machine will remove fluid off my body, but as soon as I started dialysis, I stopped weeing. The kidneys didn't produce any wee, so basically the only way to get fluid off my body was to sweat it out or get sucked out through a dialysis machine. And the way they calculate how much fluid you have is they estimate what's called your base weight, or your dry weight, and then that gets recorded. And then when you start your dialysis session, you weigh yourself and say your base weight is 80 kilos and you weigh at 84 kilos, then they will assume that you have 4 kilos of fluid on board, and they'll take that off. And they'll program the machine to remove 4 litres of fluid from your body. Now that's a lot of fluid to lose in a 5-hour period, and that knocks you around a lot. So that's why you've got to try keep your fluids to a minimum when you're not at dialysis, because if you come in overloaded, then you never really catch up. And so I learned to manage that really, really well, because if you take too much fluid off, and if that base weight is wrong, say you lose weight or you gain weight that's fat and not fluid, and we take too much fluid off, then your blood pressure drops and you pass out, and you end up on the floor or in the dialysis chair after you stand up, which happened to me a fair few times, especially at the beginning, before I knew what the hell was going on. So I had to learn how to balance that. Another one is potassium. It's an essential nutrient or electrolyte for your body, for your muscles to fire. But the kidneys normally balance that. It's really bad if you don't have enough potassium, but it's also really bad if you have too much potassium. So the dialysis machine will balance that out. But you can't eat high potassium foods. So things like potatoes, bananas, any high potassium foods like that, you shouldn't be eating, because obviously it drives your potassium too high. If your potassium goes really high, they perform a procedure in hospital on you, which is really not very nice, but I had it done twice to get your potassium down. But it can cause heart arrhythmia and palpitations and heart attacks and things like that. So it's really crucial to balance your potassium. A few other things started going on. My parathyroid glands became overactive, which is normally what happens with most dialysis patients. And what that means is basically they tell your bones to release calcium. There's too much calcium in your body, and they release calcium, and your bones get weak, especially over a long period of dialysis. So that was something I had to contend with as well. And you can't take vitamin D to make up for that loss. It doesn't work that way. The more you vitamin D, if you took extra supplements and things like that, it just gets flushed out just as quick. There's a few other complications and things as well. But yeah, we continued on with that process for about 5 years from that point. So 7 years all up. It just became a routine. But yeah, fun times. I don't recommend it. 0 out of 5 stars. Do not recommend to friends. But anyway, I've waffled on for long enough. We'll do another video tomorrow. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for being there. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.